Hello everyone, this is part 9 of What If Naruto Was a Jonin Sensei, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Naruto awoke to find Hinata's arms around him with her head against his sea. He didn't want to leave or to wake her, but he had to get to work. He slowly reached down and pushed her hair out of her eyes. At his touch she blushed slightly, and tightened her grip on him as she also muttered, stirring slightly, "Naruto-kun, please don't leave me." He stiffened a bit, then her cheek said, "Hinata, wake up." Hinata's eyes opened a bit and she saw him there. Her eyes threatened to fill with tears and she said, "Naruto-kun, sorry, I was having a bad dream." Naruto nodded, "I understand. It will take some time before you feel better." She looked up at him, "It's just that I was so happy, but it was taken from me, from us." Naruto said nothing as he pulled her closer to him. He then sighed, "I know, but like I said before, everything will be okay, I promise. We will get through this, and we will be together. As long as I have you, then I feel things will work out okay." She nodded, "So what you said before, last night?" Naruto looked confused and she continued, "It wasn't a dream, was it? We'll try again, right?" Naruto nodded, "Yes, of course we will, but only when you are ready." Hinata nodded and some of her warmth returned to her eyes. "That's good because I want to have a family with you, Naruto-kun." It was at that moment that Naruto thought that they would truly be okay. They would get past this together. He spoke softly, "I spoke with Sakura, and she said that we should probably give it some time. I'll have to ask her when she thinks might be a good time. I have an appointment with her next week. I'll ask her then, okay?" Hinata said. Naruto said, "That's fine with me. Truth be told, it is uncomfortable for me to talk with her about things like this," he continued, sheepishly rubbing the back of his head. Hinata gave a very slight giggle at Naruto's habit. She felt it as well. She felt that they would make it. That was a good feeling. After a while she finally let him go. He needed to leave for the various meetings and paperwork. His first meeting was with Hashi, who was waiting for him in his office when he arrived. "You are late, Hokage-sama," said the voice of Hashi as Naruto entered his office. Naruto bowed to the older man. "My apologies, Hashi-sama, things required my attention this morning." "I see," said Hashi, understanding. "How is she?" Naruto smiled a bit. "She is fine, or will be soon. Obviously she is taking it hard, but she will be okay." His smile turned to a frown. "And what of the man that did it?" Hashi responded coldly, "He is last night with a Juken strike to his heart." "I see, so it was you," Naruto started. "Yes," he finished for Naruto. After Hashi left, he worked a bit on the paperwork for various other things to the village, or rather his clones worked on it while he stood by his window looking out on the village. There was a knock at the door and Sasuke along with Shikamaru entered. They grinned a bit to see the clones at work, but that grin faltered when they saw the original's face. Shikamaru spoke up, "How is Hinata-san doing?" Naruto nodded and dispelled his clones. "She will be fine. It might take a bit before she is 100 again, but that was expected." The two sat at the seats on front of Naruto's desk across from him. Sasuke said, "There has been no word on other sightings. It seems we lucked out with the one-tailed." "Yeah, that's true," said Naruto. "Have you heard from Kawazu recently?" asked Shikamaru. "Not yet, but he said that he would keep in touch and keep me posted. I am expecting a status report from him soon, actually." The three then pored over scrolls of various information that has been obtained, trying to determine a clue on the other demons. After an hour of work, there was a sudden puff of smoke on his desk that revealed a small frog when it cleared. The frog spat up a scroll and then disappeared. Naruto said, "What timing, this must be some information from Kawazu." As Naruto reached for the scroll, it burst into smoke, transforming it Kawazu himself. The man lay on Naruto's desk. He looked battered and he also seemed to be drifting in and out of conciseness. Sasuke shouted to the door for the guard. The guard came in and Naruto told him, "Get the medics up here, now." Naruto was speaking to Sakura in the hospital, thinking to himself that he has visited here too often for his taste. Sakura said to him, he will be fine, his wounds were superficial, there was some chakra exhaustion and B loss, but he has been treated. When can I talk to him? He asked. He is fairly lucid, you can see him now if you like. Naruto nodded and was led through his door. He saw his protege resting in the bed. He was bandaged but looked better than when he just popped up in the office. Naruto sat behind him and said, you wanna tell me what happened? Kawazu said, I consider it a lesson in humility. He sighed and continued, I was traveling from Cloud to Stone villages when I chanced on another one of them. Really? Said Naruto, which one? Kawazu shook his head, it was none of the ones we know about, the shell of chakra it created had 4 tails, but that might be all it brought out, it could have been more. He sighed, but I don't think it was more than that, I got the feeling that it was not holding anything back. It reminded me of a bear when in that form. So you engaged it, not knowing what it could do. Said a voice from the doorway. Wow Kawazu, you are more like Naruto than I thought. The two looked over at the door to see Shikamaru standing there, listening. Naruto asked, what the hell is that supposed to mean? Shikamaru smirked, well how you used to be Naruto, you used to rush into battle without considering any of the factors. Yeah, well I've got you for that now. Naruto replied. Kawazu spoke up, just so you know, I did not just rush into battle. I came across it and decided to check it out, to see if I could garner an information that might be useful then call for backup. But it sniffed me out and attacked before I could do anything. He paused for a bit then continued. Admittedly I was still a bit why from the ease of my last battle, therefore I consider this a lesson in humility. I will not be taking on any of the others alone. The two nodded in response to his testimony and Naruto said, so what of the demon? Kawazu said, it is S. Shikamaru looked amazed and Naruto whistled impressed, Kawazu, you keep this up and you won't leave any of the for anyone else. Kawazu did not look gracious at the praise, in fact he looked more troubled. There is one thing I noticed, true that it attacked me but the fact of the matter is that before it did I found it in the woods seemingly making a home for itself. He looked up at the two others, you do realize what that means don't you? Naruto shook his head and Shikamaru seemed to get what he was driving at. Kawazu continued, it means that they may just want to be left alone, the bear didn't attack until it smelled me there. Naruto was understanding it now, so when the demon attacked sooner, it was because they had wronged it before, they kept it trapped and sealed until they used it to make a Junkwiki. Naruto considered this, now that I think about it, maybe I should ask that fox bastard why he attacked Konoha in the first place. We never discussed it. Shikamaru sighed, well this gives us plenty to think about. Naruto was in a meditative state. He was in his home, in a very bare and silent room. He had resigned himself that he needed to speak with a better source, the Kyuubi. He relaxed his body and emptied his buzzing mind. Focusing on absolutely nothing he let all the problems that he was facing slip away. It proved a difficult task but after some time, and he couldn't tell how long, he found himself in a dark corridor. He walked the length of this hall and found himself in front of a large cage. The occupant of the cage was seemingly sleeping, its great side rising and falling steadily. Naruto walked up to the beast and said, hey, freeloader, wake up. Kyuubi stirred and lifted his head to gaze at the source of his rude wake up, what the hell do you want, brat? Naruto sighed, I need to ask you some questions. The beast sat up and then bent down to face his jailer, questions. You never have any questions, what is it? Naruto did not miss a step. I need to know why you attacked Konoha all those years ago. The Kyuubi laughed, he laughed a laugh booming, bark. Why the interest? He asked chuckling. Because I need to understand what would cause you to do so, I need to know what drove you, an animal spirit, to it. The fox considered him a moment, then said, fine, but first you will need to understand something. We are not demons, we are as you said, animal spirits. I was attacked first but a ninja wearing a Konoha Hayate, so a rage I attacked your village in order to kill that man. But we both know the end of that story. Who attacked you? Naruto asked curious. It matters not, after all that snake is S now. Snake, you mean? Naruto started. Yes. Naruto grimaced, it was Orochimaru that ruined his life. If that bastard was alive I'd kill him again. Naruto thought to himself, he then asked the fox one other question. Is there anything else I should know about the campaign to S the spirits? The fox laughed again, only that it is useless. What do you mean? Like I said, it is useless. The animal spirits cannot be ever. It is possible to destroy the body they inhabit and the spirit will dissipate, like what will happen when us. But the spirits are always reborn into a new form. Naruto was in shock. The demons would always be reborn. So, what you are saying is that humanity will never be safe from the demons. You still cling to that word, don't make me repeat myself a third time. We are not demons. We are spirits. I know what you are thinking, the One Tail was brutal, and he attacked the village and corrupted the host into innocence. That's true, he did, but it was humans that drove him to that village keep him sealed. They used him over the past generations as a weapon. They deserved it. The fox smirked. Naruto interjected, they did not deserve to be attacked recently. They did, the sins of the fathers passed to the son. Don't preach to us, we hold little to no store in your values, human. So then, when it is reborn it will attack again. No, when he is reborn he will start over. As long as you humans don't and corrupt them again. Why should I believe you? What do I have to gain from lying to you? I'm going to alongside you, remember. Well, all I have to say is you can either keep doing what you are doing or not, your choice. Why? What does that mean? You'd be doing us a favor if you continue destroying to be, but it will happen anyway. After all, those be will naturally and the spirit will pass on to its natural form after it is reborn. Naruto thought about that, he said as he stood to leave. This is the most you have ever helped me out. You have given me a lot to think about. The fox said nothing, just turned away from his host and tried to sleep again. The next day Naruto told his friends and advisors what was said between himself and the fox. In the room were a few elders, Hashi, there was his advisor Shikamaru, and Sasuke. Also there was Kakashi, and several others along with Kawazu. When Naruto was done, Shikamaru asked, so what are we going to do now? Naruto looked at his friend, what do you mean? I think it's very obvious what needs to be done. The spirits are trapped in those be. They are more of a danger to humans because of that. They were imprisoned, and they might still hold that against humanity, more of that sins of the father crap that Kyuubi was talking about. He breathed deep. I'll be damned if I let that affect my kids, whenever I have them. At that Hashi shifted in his seat but said nothing. Naruto continued, so there it is, I suggest that we continue on with the plan. But the goal is no longer to kill the spirits, it is now to free them, in a way. And we will have to make sure that the spirits are no longer used as they were, in order to prevent problems like this in the future. He looked around, any objections to that? There were none. Good then, we will continue. And when it will all be over. That will be the legacy that I leave, said Naruto. It has been 3 weeks since the revelations that Naruto had. In that time they heard next to nothing about any of the animal spirits. There was an odd rumor that made it to him every so often, but that was always dismissed after a quick investigation. Naruto felt that he hit a block. It is true that their goal now was no longer the total extermination of the tailed spirits but, in essence, freeing them from the shackles in which they were placed. Still, they proved to be just as elusive as ever. Damn, Naruto said out loud, as he was filing away another report on the issue that turned out to be yet another end. They are not making it easy for me. What do you expect, Hokage-sama? Said a voice from his door, they are probably still upset at humanity, thanks to the Akatsuki. That and you are out to destroy their vessels, it is natural that they would avoid you. Naruto looked up to see the Kazekage flanked by Temari, and 2 of his guards standing there. He shook his head, and got up to greet his guest. Gaara, he said as he shook his friend's hand, what did I say about that, Hokage-sama, stuff? Please, it's Naruto to you. Gaara nodded his head and said, sorry, it is the formalities that the other cages expect, and I keep forgetting how you are. He turned to his guard and motioned them to wait outside, he then closed the door behind him. You know Gaara, I could get upset by that. Naruto said as he sat down again and waved Gaara to the seat across from him. All of these years we've been allies, friends even, and you still don't know me. He asked in mock hurt. Gaara smirked for a moment and then his face grew a bit more solemn. How is Hinata-sama? I had heard what happened, and on behalf of Suna I wished to offer our condolences in person. Naruto nodded his thanks, she is doing much better, in fact her doctor said that she is ready, physically, to try again. He sighed, so we hope for the best. Well, I wish you the best of luck, my friend. Thanks, Gaara. Gaara then got onto the business at hand. Have you heard anything from the others? Naruto nodded. The Reikage, Mizukage, and Tsuchikage will all be here by tomorrow and we will have our meeting then officially. Gaara nodded. It is rare that all 5 cages meet at once. Are you truly okay with all of us coming here? Naruto said, of course, it was my idea. Also, location-wise, it is the most convenient, as my village is right in the middle. He then reached into his desk with a smirk on his face. From the hidden compartment he produced a bottle and 2 small saucers. He poured some of the contents into each of the saucers and offered one to Gaara with a smile. Sake. This is some of the stock that Tsunade left behind when she retired. It is very high quality. Gaara took the sake with a look of apprehension, but said nothing as he looked at it. Naruto laughed. Relax, I'm not trying to poison you. Gaara said, I'm just not much of a drinker. Naruto nodded a bit. Same here, but I think one drink with a friend can't hurt, right? I suppose, replied Gaara. Naruto raised his cup and said, let's consider this a toast for good luck in our upcoming meeting, and future trials. Gaara raised his after his friend, and the 2 drank. The next morning Naruto awoke with a throbbing head. He rubbed the blurriness from his eyes and sat up a little woozy. Last time, I keep telling myself that, but this is it. He thought. His movement disrupted Hinata, whose eyes fluttered open. She snuggled close to Naruto and said, good morning. Says who? Naruto asked, holding his head. Hinata giggled, how much did you drink? I'm not sure. She looked a bit disappointed, so you don't remember anything from last night? Naruto thought a bit and said, not really, why? She frowned a bit, because, last night was amazing. Naruto's brain was starting to catch up. You mean we? Hinata nodded. But are you sure you were ready? Naruto asked. I didn't force you or anything, did I? No, she responded. And, yes, I was ready. I was waiting for you to be ready. Naruto smiled and pulled her closer. I was ready to try again but was unsure how to bring it up. So I suppose I am happy I drank and also not. What do you mean? Well, he started, I am happy I did because now we both know that we can move on. At the same time I am not because I don't remember what was likely a great time. Hinata nodded, yes, I suppose. Naruto rubbed his temples. What time is it? Hinata looked at the clock, 8 a.m. He sighed, good, I thought I overslept. The others should be here within a couple hours, the meeting is set for noon. He got up from bed, I need to bathe and some food, I hope this hangover is gone in time for the meeting. Hinata got up and reached for her robe, I can get breakfast for you. Naruto waved his hand, it's okay Hinata-chan, I can get it myself. She smiled and shook her head, no offense Naruto-kun, but all you know how to cook is instant ramen, and you're going to need an actual, decent meal. Naruto shook his head and put on a mock face of hurt, or, Hinata, why do you have to be so mean? Naruto had finished his bath and after eating breakfast his energy was starting to return. Thanks Hinata, that was great. She blushed a bit at his compliment when there was a knock at his door. Naruto went and answered to find Shikamaru, who said, Naruto, we have spotted the Reikage's party approaching the village and, troublesome that it is, it might be best if you greet them on the arrival. Right, I'll get dressed and we will meet them at the gates, Naruto said. 15 minutes later Naruto, in his Hokage robes, along with Hinata and Shikamaru were heading to the main gates. When they got there, they were met by Gaara and Temari. Temari waved to them and winked at Shikamaru who muttered something that the others didn't catch. Gaara greeted Naruto with a bow, and as he stood straight he smirked. So, how are you feeling today, Hokage-sama? I'm fine, Kazekage-sama. And you? Gaara replied, I have no complaints. He turned to Hinata, and, how are you today? I am well, Gaara-sama, thank you. Hinata bowed. Naruto interrupted, hey, Gaara, can we drop the formalities? I always have trouble with that. Sorry, Naruto. But the others will expect it so I think it best to get into that habit for this meeting. Gaara replied. Naruto nodded and said, yeah I guess. Temari laughed, surprising, Naruto-sama. You have a very proper wife and yet nothing seems to rub off on you. Gaara and Temari left to go to the meeting room, and Naruto was left to greet the other cages with Shikamaru and Hinata. The expected party soon was visible on the path to the main gate. The Raikage, flanked by his advisors and several guards, walked slowly toward Konoha. All of the people there bowed to the other party. Hokage-sama, thank you for inviting me to your village, said the tall thin man in white and yellow robes. And allow me to thank you for accepting my invitation, Raikage-sama. Naruto replied, I hope that the trip was pleasant and that there was no inconvenience. No problem at all. The Raikage said, there are certain things that require face-to-face talk. And as professional as your delegate, Kawazu, this is one of those times. The man turned to Hinata, and this must be your wife. He bowed to Hinata, who returned it, slightly nervous. Naruto noticed the uncomfortable air around his wife and remembered what Neji had said about the troubles the Hyuga had with the hidden cloud. Naruto said to the man, Raikage-sama, if you would like you can go to the meeting room. Kazekage Gaara is already there. The Raikage glanced from Naruto to Hinata, then back to Naruto. My apologies, I seem to have upset your wife. He spoke then to Hinata. I wish to offer my apologies for the past actions of my village and predecessor. I wish you and your village no harm. He said, bowing once again, then to Naruto, I would like to go to the meeting room, thank you. Naruto motioned to a Chunin who came up to the group. He said to the Chunin, please escort the Raikage to the meeting room. They met and greeted the other cages with almost no unpleasantness. There was an awkward moment with the Tsuchikage, when his eyes glossed over on shaking Naruto's hand. Naruto noticed this and considered it a compliment, as he must have reminded the man of his father. The five of them were sitting around the circular table that had been set up in the meeting room of Hokage Tower. Naruto started off the meeting. Firstly, I want to thank you all for making the journey here. Hopefully we can work through the issues that we are facing together. The other four nodded in response and Naruto continued, now, on to business. You are all aware of why I requested you here. My sources say that we need to make sure that all of the animal spirits are destroyed. They need to be able to pass on and be reborn as what they are meant to be. The Mizukage interjected, what do you mean by that, Hokage-sama? You want these demons to be reborn? Not at all, Mizukage-sama, said Naruto. I don't want demons to be reborn, obviously it would be preferable to have no demons in this world. What I am saying is that, these creatures are not demons, they are animal spirits. They will be reborn whether we want it or not. That is the way that they work, they cannot be K. Naruto paused, and there was no interruption. That being said, it was humans that corrupted them into what we see as demons. We corrupted them, by using them as weapons, by attacking them because we fear them. It is in doing that, that we create demons. They all listened intently, and then the Raikage spoke. Hokage-sama, what is it that you are suggesting? Naruto addressed the others again. What we need to do is make sure that when they are reborn, they are not used to make Jinchuriki, that they are not hunted. Simply put, that they are left alone and not provoked. The Tsuchikage spoke up, are you telling us what to do? I have been a cage since before you were born, where do you get the audacity to tell us how to run our lives? Naruto s his hand on the table to quiet the man, but he continued calmly. I am not telling you anything on how to run your lives or villages. I am not criticizing what anyone did in the past or saying what should be done in the future. You run your village how you see fit and I will run mine. All I am saying is that we cannot continue in this way with the spirits, with things we don't understand and will never understand. He sighed, now, Tsuchikage-sama, none of my information indicates that Hidden Stone has ever participated in the creation of a Jinchuriki, so what is your real objection? The man addressed said nothing, but Gaara understood. It is because we are young, is it not, Tsuchikage-sama? Gaara asked. You feel us to be inexperienced. It was not a question. I am offering an alliance, said Naruto. We will all be able to keep our secrets concerning the village, but when it comes to the spirits we must be open. If we continue using them in the way we have, it could lead to the end of the world as we know it. That Akatsuki almost saw to that. He looked around the room, the others looked to be considering this. He then said, I don't need an answer this second, we can reconvene in the morning if you would like to get some fresh air and time to think. The others agreed and they left the meeting for the day. Naruto was in his office with Gaara, Shikamaru and Temari later that day. What do you guys think? Gaara spoke first. It will be tricky, after all, not once, ever has every cage unanimously agreed on a single issue. Shikamaru and Temari nodded at this. Well, that sucks, Naruto said. Still, this would be the issue then, right? After all, we need to stay positive for what needs to be done. Troublesome, but we will continue on even without all of their support, Shikamaru said. Temari said, true, but it will be easier with their support. I know, said Naruto. But I said all I could, it is up to them. Truth be told, the only one that concerns me is the Tsuchikage, he seems to despise us for our age. Gaara said, then he is an old fool. Naruto shook his head, it is not just that, I think he is uncomfortable around me. Because of what I am, and who my father was. He sighed, old minds are the hardest to change, after all, Sarutobi was one of the most stubborn old men I ever knew, but he was great for it. That will be all for this video, be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos, goodbye.